Why outdoors? Cooking outdoors is where it started. When man first felt fire, where was it at? Outdoors. It wasn't in the house. Houses will make you soft, and they'll make you tired, and they'll make you sleepy. Get outside, get some vitamin D, and let's cook some meat that's on a fire. It is not the legs that hold the table up, it is the people that gather around it. And that's what it meant to us to come together as family, but that's what cooking was about. You cook what you love what you cook. I learned to cook from my mother. There was never a recipe. It was a little of this, a pinch of that, little dab of that, and you could ask them, how much is that? Just the right amount. You know, I cooked off and on through the years, even in high school, but when I started rodeoing hard and being on the road a lot, and I ate a lot of truck stop food, you know, and I got to thinking, whew, I really would like to have some of Mama's cooking again. And I got to working on ranches and doing different stuff, and you eat off a lot of Chuckwagons, just like this one back here. And some of the cooks were decent, but some of them were so bad. So it was back in the early 80s that I started working for my mother's brother, my uncle, guiding elk hunters in the Gila Wilderness. I'd always cooked, but I'd never cooked at altitude, and I'd never baked in a Dutch oven at that time. He threw 3 Dutch ovens out on the ground after we'd rode 27 miles in on a mule, and he said, I know your mother taught you how to cook. You are the cook. Trial and error was the best teacher I ever had in my life. Nobody taught me how to cook in a Dutch oven. It was all just practice, practice, and more practice. When I got out of there, quit guiding elk hunters, and that was about 6 seasons in the fall. Sometimes I'd be gone 8, 9 weeks at a time. I got to cooking for ranches that I used to sometimes work on. And I bought an old wagon at the time, which is a Studebaker, and Studebaker made wagons long before they ever made cars and pickup trucks. But I started cooking for ranches, and back then there was no internet, there was none of this website, none of that. Word of mouth and a full stomach was the only advertisement that you ever had. And one ranch from the next ranch would say, this guy's probably one of the best cooks they are. From after that, it started from weddings to family reunions to birthdays to my first ever bar mitzvah. I did not even know what it was when the lady called me. But after that, it sort of began to blossom out, and we still never did give up the heritage that I'll never give up, and that's cooking for ranches. True working ranches, cooking for cowboys. But I've been on ranches where it was 6 weeks in. At one time, you fed 3 meals a day. Your days start at 2:30 in the morning. You don't quit till about 8:39. You learn how to get by on that little of sleep, and you thrive on it. That's what we do. But it's one of the things that we take great pride in, being able to do that part of it, because we're sharing history and heritage both. There's mornings when I would see them guys ride out of camp, and they would break up out of the Paladar Canyon or something and be rimming out. Beautiful spring morning, be like 50 degrees, and I'd think, I wished I could go. One more time, I'd like to see that sun as it rises above that cap rock, just one time. But then there's days when they ride out that it's -5, and the wind's blowing 45 and it's snowing. And I got a wall pulled down on the side of that old flyover, and I'm watching them ride out as the snow's blowing through there, and I'm thinking, this is a good place to be today. I know what their day's been like, and I know what they're expecting. And we feed cowboys better than anybody, because when you can feed a crew that well, you're gonna keep them happy, and it's their family. Because when you're there 5 weeks, you better make them family, or it's a long time. When people see me and Shan together, I hope they see an angel, because that's what I see. I remember the first time I ever seen her, really I heard her voice more than anything else, and that was her laugh. My dad told me one time, you're gonna get some good things in life. You're gonna get a good horse, you're gonna get a good dog, you're gonna get a good woman, and you're gonna get a good life. I've had them all now, but she has brought me to the modern age. I have a YouTube family I never knew I even had. Now we're able to spread what we do to people all over. Not in the United States, everywhere. We get comments and letters from folks from Japan, from Russia, from everywhere in the world. But the thing that touches our heart the most is the ones we get from the soldiers, the ones that we get from overseas that say, your videos bring me back home every night. So the thing that we always stress to them is share the food, share the video. Baking, cooking in a Dutch oven and the way I cook has never been science. It all comes from in here, and that's where it starts, and that's why I love to cook. To see people, when you feed people, see the expression on their face, hey, that's the best part of it. Number one thing, never run out of firewood.